What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 18 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 18 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $288 just yesterday. Another member who won $100 for the 5th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily upload. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're talking about is Vit Krejci, and this one is for 7.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Vit, we've actually seen him go in the under in 1 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the New York Knicks. Now we look at the New York Knicks, we do see that when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 9th, so pretty high in that ranking, and that is a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation for someone like Vit. Now when it comes to Vit as well, he is a guard, and when we look at what the New York Knicks have, the New York Knicks also do a really good job at restricting points to the guard position. So we see both of these things being a huge factor coming into this game, which is another big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Vit Krejci as well, when we also look further with the matchup New York Knicks and Atlanta, we actually are expecting in this game New York Knicks to slow the pace of Atlanta down quite a lot. Knicks are a slower paced team. We tend to see them slow faster paced teams, and we definitely see that happening coming into this matchup. So we could see Vit not get the same amount of volume that he usually sees. Although he has gone on the over multiple times over the last 5, we think matchups, that's what's most important. And with a team like New York Knicks that do a great job at restricting points, we should see someone like Vit, who doesn't have the highest usage rate in this Atlanta team when it comes to points, go on the under here. So for that reason, I definitely do like the under for this situation. So Vit Krejci, 7.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about another great player, and that is Yves Missi. Now when we look at Yves Missi, as we all know, great player, and this one is for points and assists, so a combo one for points and assists for actually 11.5, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Yves, we've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Utah Jazz. Now we look at the Utah Jazz, as we all know, the Utah Jazz when it comes to points allowed do rank 26, and then when it comes to assists allowed, we also see that the Utah Jazz do rank 28th. So a little bit on the, lower side in those categories. However, the reason why we do like the under still for Yves Missi is, first, when it comes to Yves, he doesn't have the highest usage rate in both of these departments, especially for this New Orleans Pelicans team. So that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. When it comes to someone like Yves Missi as well, when we look at his average over the last 5, it is 8.4, so significantly under this line. He hasn't been able to hit on the over lately, and even the time that he did go on the over, he only made it over by 0.5. So definitely not convincing enough to us to be able to do it, and that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at Utah Jazz as well, what we also do like to see is that when it comes to Utah and also this Pelicans matchup, we aren't expecting that much pace from this game. We may see something a little bit more slower than we usually see, which could lead to less volume from someone like Yves Missi coming into this matchup. So when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have a favor for the under as well. So all signs really do point towards the under for this one. And for that reason, we are sticking to it. So Yves Missi for 11.5 points and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Dean Wade. So, as you all know, Dean Wade from Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland have been playing great, and this one is for points and rebounds. So another combo one for 12.5, and this one actually is for less as well. Now look at Dean Wade. We've actually seen him go in the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Phoenix Suns. Now, when we look at the Phoenix Suns, we do see that the Suns rank 20th when it comes to points allowed. And when we look at rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Phoenix Suns do rank 21st. So although the Phoenix Suns do rank very low in both categories, the reason why we still do like the under for someone like Dean Wade is that when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, they do a really good job at restricting points and rebounds to the big man position, whether that's forward or even whether that's center. So that's a big reason why I do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at the matchup, which is Cleveland and Phoenix, Cleveland are a very slow paced team. They do a great job, defensively, but they also tend to really slow the pace down for a lot of games. So we could see, not a lot of volume due to the fact that we are expecting a little bit more slower pace from this matchup, which could lead to less volume for someone like Dean Wade. Now, he's also gone, under 4 of the last 5. His average over the last 5 as well is 9.8, so significantly under this line. So his usage rate has definitely not been high enough to see or convince us enough to be able to go on the over, and that's why we are definitely sticking to the under for this situation here. Even the time he has gone on the over, he only made it over by 0.5, so not really convincing enough to us. That's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor. So Dean Wade, 12.5 points and rebs for less, I think is a fantastic pick. All right, so as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Miles Bridges. So as you all know, Miles Bridges is a fantastic player, and he has been averaging so far this season for the Charlotte Hornets 18.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, while also shooting 43.1% from the field. So he's done an absolute fantastic job for the Charlotte Hornets, and the Charlotte Hornets do have themselves a great matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. Now look at the Dallas Mavericks. It is going to be a very exciting game. Now the Dallas Mavericks do rank 12th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 15th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Dallas Mavericks rank a little bit lower as they rank 19th. So they rank pretty mid-tier in all 3 categories. However, when it comes to Miles Bridges, we definitely see him going on the over here, as Dallas first do rank mid-tier in all 3 categories, but secondly, on top of that, Dallas Mavericks also do a really poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the small forward position. And for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here. When it comes to Miles Bridges, he does have a great usage rate in all 3 departments, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists, so it doesn't really matter which one you want to focus on. I think there's a lot of capabilities, especially for someone like Bridges, who has been playing fantastic, to be able to go over in this matchup. Now we look at this matchup as well. When we look at actually the pace of this game, we are expecting a good amount of pace. Miles Bridges and the Charlotte Hornets are a very fast-paced team, and although Dallas are a little bit slower, we actually see Charlotte Hornets picking up the pace and actually bringing Dallas Mavericks to their pace rather than vice versa. So we are expecting a good amount of volume. Miles Bridges should be able to get a lot of usage rate out there, and he should be able to take advantage of Dallas not really doing a great job, especially against his position. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for Miles Bridges. Keep an eye out for his line. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over, so I see a lot of great value there. Now getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Jalen Green. So we look at Jalen Green, we've actually seen him average 21.6 points, 4.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 43.8% from the field. So he's done a great job for none other than the Houston Rockets, and the Houston Rockets do face off against the Detroit Pistons. Now Detroit Pistons have been playing, pretty decently, so it is going to be a great matchup, but Jalen Green, the Houston Rockets have been doing well. The Detroit Pistons do rank when it comes to points allowed 16th. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 8th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that they rank 3rd. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. Although Detroit Pistons rank high in some categories and a little bit lower in others, a big reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that when it comes to Jalen Green, he is a shooting guard, and we've actually seen Detroit Pistons do a really good job, especially against the shooting guard position. On top of that, when we tend to see defensive strategies from this Detroit Pistons team, we tend to see them really focus in on star players, which is what Jalen Green is. So we definitely see him going under on his line. Now, if there was a line to focus on, I would definitely say points. I think there's a lot of value there. I think, when it comes to Detroit, they are going to try to restrict him points wise as much as they can. Now, the pace for this game is going to be a little bit on the slower side, and since it is going to be on the slower side, it should lead to a little bit less volume than we usually see from Houston, and also specifically Jalen Green. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for this situation here. And when it comes to Jalen Green as well, what we also do like about this situation is that when it comes to actually his usage rate out there, it isn't really that high, only really in that points category. But like I said, Detroit do a really good job against points. So, I think there's a lot of value to go in the under in all three categories, but it's completely up to you. I see points as probably the line that will come out that will have a lot of value there, but completely up to you in that category. So keep an eye out for his line first. If it is close to his averages, definitely look to go in the under. So I see a lot of value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Jayson Tatum. So Jayson Tatum has done a great job averaging 27.7 points, 9.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists, while also shooting 45.9% from the field. So he's done a great job for none other than the Boston Celtics. And the Boston Celtics do have themselves a great matchup against the Golden State Warriors. So the Golden State Warriors are going to be a very exciting team. And when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, we do actually see that, the Warriors do rank when it comes to points allowed. They rank 8th. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that they also do rank, a little bit on the, top end of the spectrum, but they do actually rank still mid-tier at 16th. And then on top of that, rebounds allowed, we also see that the Warriors rank a little bit lower as they rank 24th. So very interestingly there, they rank higher in points, lower in assists, lower in rebounds. However, when it comes to Jayson Tatum, we definitely see him going on the over in this one. A big reason for this is that when it comes to Tatum, he just has such a really good usage rate in all three departments. And we definitely see someone like Jayson Tatum being able to take advantage of this and going on the over in this situation here. When it comes to the Boston Celtics as well, when we look at this matchup against the Warriors, we are actually expecting a good amount of pace. Celtics used to be a lot more of a slower team, but we have seen them pick up the pace quite a bit over this season, and we definitely see that coming into this matchup. So we should see a lot of volume from someone like Tatum coming into this matchup. Now, if there was one to focus on, I think there's a lot of value in all three categories for someone like Tatum to go on the over. So I think points, rebounds, and assists, definitely keep an eye out for those lines, because I definitely see a lot of value there, especially with the way he has been playing so far. So Tatum is coming off a loss where he only had 23 points. We should see him be able to bounce back and go from there.